Sometimes you don't know what you want to do, and sometimes you do. However, when you know how you want to feel, that's more than enough. In fact, that's probably the most powerful thing that you can lean into. What I mean by that is, it's like you know how you want to feel, and even though you don't have a direction of what you want, right? And I'm not talking about, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be famous. I'm not talking about that. Like for me, my content, a lot of my content here and on my YouTube channel is about my desire is just to feel free and to it's happiness and joy. That's it. That's my compass. And I may not know, like I was a psychotherapist for like over 10 years. I quit that in the middle of it being super successful. It wasn't about that. I also quit being a realtor. I was a realtor before that. And I was really successful, and I quit that in the middle of it being successful. And I didn't quit. I quit those things because they didn't please me anymore. Yet every single time, I never knew what I was going to step into. I didn't have a plan of where I was going to go next. I just kept trusting what I didn't want, that it was going to lead me into what I do want. Because a lot of people think that you have to have it figured out before you take a leap, and no, you don't. So, even like where I'm at now, like I know, like where I'm at right now, I've been leasing an apartment, and when I came to renew my lease, I was like really torn because I'm like, I don't know where I want to go next, or if I want to stay, or what I want to do next. But this has been the theme of my entire life. But what I do trust in is what I don't want. So like I signed up again for a lease, but this time I chose the shortest option. I chose like the 6 month option. And what I do know is that I don't want to sign another lease. And what does that mean? I don't know, but I don't care. I just know that's not what I want. So what I do know is that when I leave this lease, as of this moment, all my shit's going into storage. What is going to happen after that? I don't know, but I do know that what I don't want. I hope this is making sense. And I trust that implicitly because it's my higher self leading me into the next thing. So it's not so much that people focus so much on, I have to know what I want before I can take a step. I got to know how it's going to, it's almost like you need a business plan before you can make a next step into what you desire. Even like I love watching people create businesses and, in following their dreams and all that. But sometimes your dream may not be clear because you've been so focused on having a business plan. You've been so focused on step by step. You need a safety net. You need to know what's going to happen. You need to know what's going to happen next. You need to know where you're going. You need to know all of the details before you can even feel good about the plan. And so what a lot of people end up doing, they end up selecting something that they kind of want, that kind of feels like it, and like you're settling for something that you really didn't want, when that's not even necessary. So that's why I wanted to share this for any of you that are feeling the similar way. Like, you don't always have to know what you want, because that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to have everything figured out. But you can lean into knowing, okay, I know I don't want to do this. And maybe it's a job that you've been going to. Maybe it's a place that you're living in. Maybe it's a city you're living in. Maybe it's a relationship you're in. Maybe it's a party you're invited to. Maybe it's a workout that you've been doing, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be life-changing. It could be something that just is happening today. I know I don't want that. And what happens is when you allow yourself, you give yourself permission to not choose that, A lot of you might think that there's going to be a consequence, that there's going to be, a karma with it, attached to it of some sort. And that's what I want you to know you can release yourself from. There's no price tag for you choosing what you want or don't want. That you're not going to get in trouble. No one's going to come after you and tell you you can't do that unless that is your fear. And if your fear overrides your desire, then yeah, you're going to experience that fear. But if you know that what you choose is the compass, is what you trust in somehow, some way, everything's going to work out for you in what you chose, that you're going to be supported financially, emotionally, like all the steps, everything is going to support you choosing you. That's freedom. That's freedom. I recently heard a quote from Napoleon Hill. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, and he said, you want to detach. This is what true detachment is. True detachment is not needing closure, not needing validation, and not needing permission. That's what true detachment is. In other words, you're claiming yourself as sovereign. You're claiming yourself as whole, that you don't need to know the answers to everything in this moment, that you don't need to see the path. You don't need closure from what you walked away from. You don't need validation that what you've chosen to not do anything is the right thing. And you don't need anyone's permission to choose yourself, to do what you want to do in your life. But if you still hold on to, yeah, but what about this? What about bills? What about this? What about the other? It's like that will rule you. This is where your choice of your free will comes in. So true detachment is your freedom. Detachment is not the end of passion. It's the beginning of your peace. It's the beginning of your freedom. So it's okay if you don't know what you want. It's okay. Lean into that, because you know you can walk away or not do the things that you don't want to do. But the minute you say, yeah, but, then that's your fear, and that is what will rule your life.